Hello, everyone, and welcome to the May 29th, 2017 Raw post-show review, brought to you by yours truly, Micah, at Micah Kool-Aid, and his co-host.
You can follow me at Cass10 going on Twitter. And how could you almost forget May 29th? Because this was the day of the second ever NXT TakeOver special that featured the fantastic women's match between Charlotte and Natalya for the women's title.
May 29th has another meaning, or at least this one does. It was, first off, to everyone, happy Memorial Day. And let's get started with the show today. First off, hold on. I gotta get myself in the funk because we gotta get rolling because I'm out of it. I gotta get myself going. Let's do this. So tonight's Raw started with a video package for Memorial Day brought to you by John Cena. Before I continue, it's really weird because I'm pretty sure John Cena's been doing this for like 13 years. And what'll happen when he retires? Like, will it be Roman that does him, or
I don't even want to touch that, considering it's
But that's just a little sprinkle to the show that is normally Raw. But the first opening segment to Raw has a Miz TV promo segment. Miz comes out and he does his normal stick of putting over the upcoming match between him and Dean Ambrose at Extreme Rules. The match is going to be if Dean gets himself disqualified, he relinquishes the title match. Yeah, I know it's a super long stipulation title to a match. I don't know how you shorten it, but that's what we got. And he talked crap about Dean like he normally does. He said a very good line of, I elevated the title to such great heights, and Dean stole it from me like the thief that he is, and he's dragging it through the mud or the trash bins that he lives in. That was entertaining. They both looked great, and he welcomed his guest, Sheamus and Cesaro, to come out and be on the show with him. And the best thing about Sheamus and Cesaro were that they were stating that the WWE Universe has no has no camaraderie. They don't stick with their people. They always jump on the newest bandwagon. I prefer their promo segment about 2 or 3 weeks ago when they were saying that all WWE individuals were nostalgia phobes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take this, and I'll hope that they'll just come back on that after all of this is said and done. After they talk a little more crap, Dean Ambrose comes out. Dean Ambrose gives a statement that, hey, screw you guys, I'll beat you up. They say, hey, it's the three of us versus the one of you. Out comes the Hardy Boys. Now we have a 6-man tag match playa with Dean Ambrose and the Hardy Boys versus The Miz and Sheamus and Cesaro. So before we get to the match, exactly. Cass, you got anything else to roll on that?
I mean, I really wish that they would stop going to the Miz TV segment opening always, because I like the Miz TV thing. I really would like it to be more like the highlight reel back when it was first, you would, when it first got invented, you would rarely see it here and there, but it always feels like that they just pull that out every single month. And honestly, I didn't really find the segment really anything to write home about, because all I got from that was just cheap heel heat, cheap babyface heat. And here's the thing, another thing that kind of took me out of it was the fact that you knew where it was leading to. Yep. A 6-man tag. Which, yeah, I just thought it was cheaply done.
It was your standard regular,
typical.
Typical, as you said, a typical Raw segment showcase of, hey, out promo to set up thing for pay-per-view or whatever. Hey, I don't like your promo. Sorry, I have hand puppets right now. Well, looks like we're gonna need to have a tag match, and then the tag match happens, and
holla.
Yeah. I'm wearing a blazer for a reason, but it's
nice derby.
Before I continue, I'll wrap up the match. What happens is that the Hardys are fighting. Matt gets a lot of stuff beat out of him, and for me, what I noticed was that Sheamus and Cesaro were holding back a lot from trying to kill him. There was a point where Cesaro tried to clothesline Matt over the top rope, and it was like watching them wrestle in water.
Yeah, you could tell they were definitely trying to be careful. As far as the 6-man tag is concerned, the match was fine, but I will say the crowd was definitely hot for a 6-man tag that honestly really didn't mean much in the end. But you can definitely tell this match was sloppy in some places. Like I think, like Jeff when he does his like double leg drop and like the abdomen, Miz didn't like kip up. So that way Jeff could like do the leg drop on. I know he messed up on that. So the match was a bit sloppy, but it was passable.
I've seen sloppier matches, so it's not it wasn't the worst. But it was all right. One of the things that I definitely noticed, and people, you gotta really think about it. Jeff was really, really shown the most in it. He didn't get tagged. He didn't really get any offense until the very end to get all the attention on him, and then he got the win. And since the Hardys have been back, they have not lost in singles competition or tag competition.
Good. You gotta protect them.
Yes. And the big rumor mill is that Vince wants Jeff to be a contender for the Universal title. And by what they showed me tonight, it's not that I can see that actually happening possibly. Oh no, he'll die. It'll be a murder all over again. It'll be like,
I can definitely see that. See that.
It'll be like when Brock first showed up and beat up the Hardys for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And particularly Jeff. But in the end,
real quick before we move on, I don't like the fact that Miz got pinned because he's heading into a championship match Sunday, and it's like you want to see the number one contender like really look strong going into it. But hey,
well, that was kind of the showcase for a lot of them, Matt. A lot of the title contention things going on tonight. Only one segment really went off where the champion or whomever the people strongest didn't get the win. Which we'll get there. But
what we got next?
Jeff Swanton Bomb, Miz for the win. So then the next thing we had was actually this weird segment between Corey Graves and Kurt Angle. During the whole match, the 6-man tag match, you actually noticed Corey wasn't talking much at all. I actually forgot he was even there. They went back after the match, and Corey frantically looked at his phone, got up, and ran away.
I thought that was such a work. He did such a tremendous job. That dude did a tremendous job. Like, he really convinced me it was such a work. But then WWE once again had to ruin it by retweeting it.
It was different, and I was like, oh, I hope whatever the issue was okay. And then they made it into a segment with Kurt Angle, which
and then they retweeted it. Like,
yes, it was a publicity stunt. But they after commercial break they come back and what is it? Corey talks about how he has some sort of incriminating news on Kurt and that it could possibly damage his life, and they're doing an investigation and
scandal.
Who knows? If you guys If you guys follow one of our co-hosts, Lucas, he put out a wacky cockamania idea that I have to at least bring up. Give me just 1 minute. I had it up.
Are you sure it's his idea?
It was basically stating that he wanted that he thinks that it's going to lead back to Stephanie and Triple H showing back up, and if so, he's going to throw his TV out the window. And if that does happen, I'm going to be disappointed again. But we'll continue onward. Elias Samson had a match against Zach Evans. If you wonder who Zach Evans is, don't, because he's a jobber. It was a squash match. Anything to say, Cass?
I like the way he looked last week against Ambrose, but honestly, you can't really take Elias Samson out of that position that you put him in last week, because this guy was in the ring with the Intercontinental Champion last week, and now this week he's in the middle of a ring facing a jobber. It's like, if you're going to do something with Elias Samson, you really need to establish, is he going to be in the mid card, or are you trying to build him up? Because you pretty much flip-flop the roles.
I don't know. We talked about it off air of our own separate opinions of Elias before he got to Raw, and I think that's where they're about to start heading towards, and
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for the guy if they actually start doing that. But Elias Samson beat him. He did his own version of the Crossroads, if you guys remember that. Next segment went on with a promo segment for Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt. Samoa Joe did his mostly typical "I'm the monster, I'm the big guy." Sorry,
His
he's
best
not.
one.
Yes. Sorry, I said big guy. Don't think he's Ryback. That was my mistake, everybody. He was just talking about that he's the monster. Best thing about it, he didn't bring up Triple H or Stephanie or the Authority at all. He needs to stay away from that. I'm very happy about the fact that he was just, I'm here to beat up, win, and get the belt. And then Bray Wyatt interrupted his mid-backstage promo with his own mid-back. It was like promoception. But Bray was talking about he's the only one that can beat the Beast, and he was the only one that can kill the Black Heart, and et cetera, Bray Wyatt, hootenanny. But it did make sense technically because he's saying that he's going to beat them. This is one of their better promos in a long time.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot of talking tonight, but yes,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you, Samoa Joe. He needs to stay away from the whole Triple H dynamic as much as possible because he really needs to reestablish that presence about him. Because honestly, right now to me, Samoa Joe should be the number one heel right now on Raw, and yet he has not been that. And Bray, honestly, the only thing I got out of him was, dude, you had the opportunity to take out the Beast over a year ago at the first ever Roadblock, and yet you were in a handicap match where you should have got the crap beat out of you, but it is what it is.
To be fair, he was injured, but we didn't know that as actual viewers. But storyline wise, he was supposed to definitely fight Brock Lesnar, and hootenanny happened. But besides that, the best thing that I liked about it, and once again, one of our co-hosts stated that people talking about beating Brock Lesnar is kind of like a joke, and I think that they need to come out and talk about how they're going to beat Brock Lesnar, even though for me, I don't think anyone's going to beat Brock Lesnar other than Roman Reigns. But you're not going to go into the match being like, well, I hope I get a match to go lose. You have to go in there with confidence. You have to go in there with the thought that you are going to win, and you have to sell us as viewers with the mindset that you might be able possibly to win. I don't believe you will, but you at least, I don't need you to be like, well, I hope I win the 5-way match to then lose the belt. Lose the opportunity for the belt. But besides that, that also led us into the top of the hour at 9 o'clock match of Finn Bálor, Samoa Joe. Finn Bálor versus Samoa Joe versus Bray Wyatt. In the end, Samoa Joe won after Finn Bálor. Okay, I gotta read this because I wrote it down. Samoa Joe got the win after pinning Bray Wyatt after Finn Bálor hit the coup de grace. I would have preferred if Joe got the win on his own, if he didn't steal it like a cheap smarmy heel would. If he was just, as you said, the biggest heel, the biggest monster, took him out himself and got the win. He got a win. It pushed him in the right direction. I definitely hope he wins at the pay-per-view. But overall, what were your thoughts about this match?
I honestly did not get into this triple threat until the last 6 minutes of it. Because it was just typical. Again, it was like the typical two heels versus the one underdog babyface, and then it was for the most part, the first part of that was just simply very slow. You could tell it was a very slow paced match. But yeah, I honestly didn't enjoy the triple threat as much as a lot of people did. I don't know why the crowd was chanting "This is awesome." I'm like, it's a good match, but it's not that good.
Yeah, I put down specifically good because it was good, and I would even once we get to later in the show, I'll give my reasons for the whole show in general, and this factors into it. But it was good, and you're right. For the first half, it was them trying to work out the kinks. It was them trying to figure out. It felt like they hadn't actually wrestled each other at all, and they were trying to figure out what they were trying to do or tell the story in the match, and it just didn't feel right. after the commercial break, then it was just a 2-on-1 beatdown, which honestly dragged way too long and pushed me out of the match for a bit of time. But then I knew it was that overlining feeling of that one of the two bad guys are going to turn on the other.
Yeah.
And then that's when it'll pick up, which it did. Once Bray Wyatt attacked Samoa Joe, it sped up much better, and it became a much better match. I didn't understand how Finn was killed. He was killed the whole match. Yeah. And then he got up, and he's like, okay, time for me to start doing stuff. And he just bam, 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 bam. It was like nothing happened. He did not sell anything. It was like he was just beating the crap out of everybody. After the match, Seth Rollins had his promo. I actually liked it. I liked Mr. Rollins tonight. I thought his execution. Go ahead.
Babyface heat.
Nah, it's and this is the go out towards everyone. Definitely everyone that listens. When a person turns heel and face, you specifically heel. When a heel turns a face, normally by WWE virtues is that I want to protect all of you guys. You all are my heroes, and with you all, we're going to be taking it to the universe, and etc., etc., blah, blah, blah. One of the people who does it really good from transition to heel and face is obviously the GOAT, AJ Styles. He is exactly the same guy. He's just not as arrogant at best. The problem so far with Seth recently was that he was definitely supposed to be a face last year when he showed back up. If everyone remembers when he first showed back up, he got the biggest face reaction I've ever seen for him, ever. And then they were just like, nah, he's still a heel. Keep it going. And that really messed up his mystique, your mindset of him. And then they tried this whole Triple H thing. And he was still basically the same exact guy. But he wasn't talking about anything good. He was exactly the same guy. But he was saying, I'm going to do this for me now. And F you, Triple H. And then the week before, before WrestleMania, he did a very, very good promo that really eclipsed the whole story of how he hated what Triple H formed him into. And now he is trying to, the story that I'm trying to make for it, is that he's trying to reform himself from the man that he used to be. The main thing that they're trying to give him is this Kingslayer, that he is the guy who killed the king, and that he is trying to keep his kingdom, his newfound kingdom, the best way. Even the fact that his finisher, the V-trigger knee, is now technically called the Kingslayer. And I like that they're doing that with him. This is the story that maybe I'm fabricating or I'm making up for him to try and make some sense of it. Maybe yes, I'm going crazy. But I like this face Seth Rollins. And trust me, when I did not like Seth Rollins was the whole J&J security period. I hated him. But I like this way of his trying to reform himself. He stopped doing that whole pandering to the crowd because he didn't do it tonight. He was just saying, I'm going to beat him. Me and Roman used to be friends. We're going to do this. He never said, well, I'm going to do this for the crowd. I'm going to get the belt for the crowd. He said, I'm doing it for me. And if he keeps merging his regular Seth with this new formed Kingslayer thing and just be a regular person, I think it would be something in the end correct. I don't know why I'm doing this pose like I'm a news anchor, by the way. But that's enough about Seth Rollins. We're going to move on to a quick 205 Live match of Noam Dar versus Rich Swann. Cass?
Man, Sasha Banks has just fallen, just down a peg from where she was last year, being the women's champion, to where she's at now. However, I will say this, at least the women are, at least it's a secondary feud for the women's division, and these women are not at least being kept off the card. Because, I mean, as a comparator, you gotta imagine it's better to be on television than not being on television, even if it's something as about as useless as a mixed tag team feud, which, by the way, another thing, Micah, you and I watch 205 Live. We know the story to why Rich Swann is added to this.
You're making me take off my hat, Cass.
Because that... Here's the thing. The reason why Rich Swann is added to this is because what happened recently on 205. And for the people that don't watch that show, they probably won't know why Rich Swann is being added to this equation. But yeah, that's neither here or there.
Well, they're going into pay-per-view, and they come here to watch us explain the stuff. I'll give a quick-ass recap. Basically, Alicia Fox was dating Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander said, bump you. She went to Noam Dar. Noam Dar was doing his stuff with her, and eventually Rich Swann was like, hey, you screwed my homie, bros and four hoes. Let's fucking squash this. I'm going to mess up you guys' relationship. And then the glorious best thing that could ever happen was that she dumped him, and then it was over. But then
they rehashed it all over again tonight.
They completely retconned it a week later, literally a week after they stopped the relationship. They retconned it that none of that even happened, and the relationship just kept going. And it makes systematically no sense. And they're just dragging it on, and now they broke Sasha into it for some reason. And I just...
At least it's something. That's all I gotta say.
As we did say, it's something... They didn't say they're on the pre-show. We'll see.
Please.
But in the end, Rich Swann got the win with the Phoenix Splash, which is great. On Noam Dar getting the 1-2-3. At Extreme Rules, there will be a mixed tag team match of Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox and Noam Dar. And we'll see how that goes. Please tell me the segment isn't next. Okay, thank you. So we have a quick promo segment. Actually, Cass, this has to do with the Revival. You're our tag team aficionado. Go.
All right, the Revival was... Once I saw the Revival, I automatically went, thank the mother-freaking Lord. This tag team division needs a spark. Now, I did like the fact that Dash Wilder, even though he's still hurt because he still had the wires in his mouth, at least it keeps the Revival, it reminds the people that they're still on, because, again, with how long Raw has been as of late and how lackluster of star power it's been, at least the Revival are back, and you're letting them know that they're still part of the tag team division. Here's the thing, Dash Wilder cut the best part of his career, and he didn't even need to talk because they're very good at facial expressions, so good stuff from the Revival.
I can agree. It was nice to see the Revival again. And the whole storyline was if the Revival attacked Enzo.
Which they didn't. They made it too obvious.
We'll get there because it's way later. But, well, actually, we don't need to get there because it's pretty stupid in my opinion. Basically, the whole storyline is that Enzo keeps getting attacked backstage because basically he's the most annoying human being on this planet Earth. And...
It's Big Cass.
Yeah, Big Cass keeps giving these, oh man, my buddy keeps getting beat up. Who could keep doing it? It's gotta be the Revival. And if to me as a viewer, I completely think that it's Cass.
Yes, because he's making it way too obvious. And what I hate about this is the fact that they couldn't even give us a week to actually marinate this. This is something that you could stretch out weeks in advance, probably to the next Raw pay-per-view, but instead, you're pretty much already tipping your hand in 1 week.
Option number 2, buddy. There's always option number 1, the best course of action. Option number 2, the most ridiculous option you could possibly choose. Let's speed this up. Let's give it to them now. And that's what they did. And that's what they're clearly doing. It'll probably actually be on the pre-show if I'm just guessing. I could see this being a pre-show segment. Cass turns on Enzo and hootenanny ensues. But who cares about Enzo and Cass? Because I damn sure don't. I only care about the Revival and every other tag team that ever exists. Anywho, one of the things that I need to bring up is, once again, we're touching back on 205 Live. If you guys missed last week's episode of Tozawa versus Brian Kendrick.
That match was not good.
What are you talking about, Cass?
I did not find... Okay, real quick.
It'll be quick.
I honestly did not find that match that good. I thought it was a passable street fight for Cruiserweight standards, but it really wasn't anything to write home about.
Okay, all right. You have your own opinion, and I have my own. I thought it was a very fun fight, street fight. I haven't seen a street fight done like that in a very long time.
Which is a reason why.
I don't even remember the last street fight, and I believe I would remember this. But what I'm stating here is that they promoted the match that happened on 205 Live, the the street fight that they had on the show. But I don't understand why they didn't have it on the pay-per-view, and I just don't agree on it. I think it's a great feud. I think it had a great crescendo, and I think it was a great match. And they could have a very good match. Very good match. I would tell a person to possibly go out of your way to watch it. Don't put your hopes up that it's the bee's knees, but I'd say go and check it out. Man, the more I keep going down this show card, the more I keep seeing how, kind of pointless this was. So the next match we have is Kalisto versus Titus O'Neil.
And moving on.
Yep, Titus won with a roll-up. That's it.
That's it.
There was no story progression other than Titus saying, follow what I do, Apollo. And then it was, what?
At least he's on TV. That's all I gotta say.
It had to be at least 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That was it.
Are we there?
Yeah, we're there. This is disappointment. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. Remember, it's usually hats off, pissed off. I'm wearing black today. Most of you guys see me wear very colorful outfits when I come here. My outfit determines how I feel tonight. I'm wearing black because this was the most offensive, dreadful thing I have seen in some time. People, I'm looking at you in the camera right now, face to face. I'm not looking at this mic. I'm looking at everyone across the world. We are at the Alexa Bliss This Is Your Life segment for Bayley. I need to close this book. Y'all, you guys, I had to sit and watch through this. Help me, please. Oh my God, it was so bad. It was awful. It was so uncomfortable.
Yes.
That was the biggest thing. I felt literally like I needed to be like, well, it looks like I gotta get on my dusty trail and just walk away. Cause that was utter garbage. Utter garbage. Go ahead, Cass.
Yeah, this segment, what they were trying to do was pretty much. Well, they were like, what creative was honestly like, well, what else can we do with these women that we can use with the kendo stuck on a pole, which honestly shouldn't even be a stipulation for this, but that's around the point.
Literally, yes, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, but honestly, there's really not much I can tell you from this because I had my TV muted, and Jay, you don't pay me for this, so I had every single damn right to mute it.
Oh!
But yeah,
wow. Go ahead.
Because, this segment, I actually turned it up at the last part when Baby's music hit, but honestly, the entire thing, I went back and I watched the clip that they put out on Twitter, and it's just it was like cheap high school drama bullshit that just did not come off right. And it was I love me some Alexa Bliss. I know that she's been a tremendous heel for the Raw Women's division, but the problem with this is you can't make chicken side-eyed chicken shit with this crap because Alexa Bliss, you could tell, did her damnedest to try to save this whole segment. And honestly, when you have wrestling news sites reporting this, saying that this was getting a lot of criticism, and people are saying that it was the worst Raw segment that they ever seen, here's the thing. She was getting the what chance. And usually Alexa Bliss has been able to shut down.
She plays off of it, yes.
The what chance. This time, she had no control over the crowd. Here's the thing, and Steven, I'm going to get on your ass for this because are you seriously, you are really the only one in this world that's a wrestling fan that enjoyed that goddamn segment, and I don't give a damn what you say. You are not blaming the crowd on this one because I'm sitting at home. If I'm sitting at home as a wrestling fan, and I'm supposed to be Would my friends that aren't wrestling fans, would they be interested in this? Fuck no. And it didn't entertain me one bit, and it honestly didn't get me excited for the match, and that's what the segment did not accomplish, was the fact that it didn't do anything to get me excited for the match.
Cass, you did yourself a great service by muting your television. So, I'll put you through my perspective on it. I am reporting. I literally don't write a thing about this. I write, and I quote, abysmal Alexa Bliss Bayley segment. That's the best explanation. I watch it with my girlfriend, Cassie. Cassie does not understand a lot of the social...
on 2 years.
Yes, on 2 years. Thank you very much for the shout-out, Cass. That Cassie does not understands a lot about wrestling, but sometimes she shuts off her brain, and then she asked me to explain it. So when she shut off her brain for that segment, she came back during the part where Bayley's ex-boyfriend was speaking, and she's like, my favorite thing is when Cassie doesn't understand who a person is, her immediate reaction, if you don't say who you are in less than a second, is who the fuck is this guy? So she did not know who the fuck this guy was. So she asked me to explain. And I put it, and I'm going to try and verbally explain it to her, to you all, the same way I did to her. So, Alexa Bliss did extensive research to go into Bayley's life, to go out of her way to find information about her that no one asked for and no one cares about. She instead decided to provide us with dolls that Bayley possibly still to this day plays with because, she's a child. Then we find out that Bayley's teacher from whatever grade she was in, Bayley's father also follows her to class when she was a student because, once again, Bayley's a kid. Then we have the follow-up segment with Bayley's best friend, which she was awful. They should have kicked the girl off of the television because she didn't even know how to freaking act. And, Lord, she messed up a lot of her lines. Maybe it was she had a speech impediment. Maybe she was supposed to act like that. But it just felt so uncomfortable because she's like, Bayley used to be my best friend, and she used to just watch wrestling and not come to the mall with me. And then we got to the kicker of the whole freaking segment of introducing Bayley's ex-boyfriend because, she's never kissed a boy, right? Because, she's a girl. She's a kid. Oh, my God. I get it. You think that she's a child. Leave me the fuck alone. Oh, my God. So, we also get the kicker, the final crescendo to the segment of that supposedly Bayley's ex-boyfriend only went with Bayley to date Bayley's best friend because I don't give two shits. And then they kiss. It's awkward. The crowd is just losing it because it's dreadful. And then Bayley shows up, and you think maybe Bayley might just be like, no, these are all wrong. I don't even know who this lady is. No, she just gets in there and gets her ass whipped. It was from top to bottom, beginning to end. It was almost, I think, worse than Old Day. I actually chuckled at Old Day. I wanted to leave my house because I could not physically stand that segment. Steven and everyone in the world, I can understand you have your own reasons for your feelings on wrestling, just as we all do. I can't let that one slide, man. That was and
also, and again, it didn't do anything to get me excited to Extreme Rules, which is honestly what the point of these type of segments are on a go home show. But yeah, it's like, can we move on? My brain hurts.
Yes, and also once again, Cass also brought up before we continue because there's only like 2 other segments after this. What is it? The fact that they're having a kendo stick on a pole match is a spit in the face. I'm sorry. When they announced that 2 weeks ago, literally Cass and I have not even brought that up on the show at all. And that explains how our opinions of this is. Now let me recompose myself because I'm a journalist. And we will continue onward with the fact that the next match that they have is Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher versus TJP and Neville. And in the end, of the match. Actually, no, this actually progresses the story. Neville tapped out to the last chantry of Austin Aries.
It does, but I hate the fact that you have him lose the first time, and Charlie Caruso actually mentioned this, the first time that Neville has tapped out since he's been getting the push in the Cruiserweight division. I hate that they did it on an episode of Raw, though, because that's honestly, like, that should have been, like, a real
205
moment.
Live,
either a 205 Live moment or a pay-per-view moment, because, yeah, I mean, you plant the seed that Austin Aries can tap out Neville, but you honestly kind of killed the shot factor, because, honestly, whoever would have beat Neville was going to be made into a star. So it's like, I don't, like, what am I supposed to believe that Neville even has a chance against Austin Aries Sunday if you're turning off your brain on WWE logic-wise? And honestly, as the tag match itself, like, did we not see this tag team match a couple weeks ago?
3 weeks in a row?
And they, like, and I'm sorry, but, like, it's like, I feel like they have just been featuring TJP, Austin Aries, Jack Gallagher, and the champion Neville, and I don't want to be like, these are the only 4 people in the Cruiserweight division.
No, that's what
matter.
they show us. That's what they show us. They're going with there's, I think, 12 competitors in the 205 Live district. Cedric Alexander just showed up. I don't even know what the hell Grand Metalik is doing. Lindsay Dorado.
On main event.
Lindsay Dorado loses every match that he's ever in, and then there's all the other guys of Drew Gulak, Tony Nese,
on main event.
Yeah, but Cass is right. They have shown this match 3 weeks in a row. I haven't systematically went back in my notes to review it, but I know I have seen this match done at least 2 other times, and this is the first time ever that Neville got the loss. Ever. And they've been pumping up a lot lately that Neville has not lost since his return back at Hell in the Cell, I think, of last year.
No, it was Roadblock End of the Line.
Roadblock. That was don't say End of the Line. But and that is important to it. This Neville tapping to Austin Aries, I can see is a detriment to him. Definitely, because they gave off the mystique that Neville is this unstoppable machine, and now Austin Aries is now at that same Neville level. You see what I did there? Because that's the whole point of the storyline. Anywho, I'm okay with it because it shows that Austin Aries is equal, and this isn't a review for the pay-per-view, but it shows that he can actually win. Every other match that they've shown before, Aries always is close, but never gets the cigar. This was the first time ever that Aries sealed the deal. If he was going to do it at the pay-per-view, they would have saved that. I personally, if I'm giving out my own spoilers, I don't think he's going to win at the pay-per-view. I'm just saying. But we can leave that for our own predictions if you want to do that or whatever. We'll skip that because we have a quick promo segment from Roman Reigns about that he's the big dog and this is his yard, and that's about it. And I liked it because Roman, this was the first time that they've booked Roman, one of the very few times they booked Roman correctly since he beat The Undertaker. He's the big dog. Hoo-ah.
Yeah, he should be pissed off that Seth Rollins said that he owned him.
Yes.
There you go.
You're right. And I'm very... And we'll talk about that once we get to the match real quick. But Roman did a very good segment. After that, we had a Goldust R-Truth thing.
I love this stuff.
Of course,
I'm actually not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, people.
Go ahead.
Shout out to R-Truth for the Pulp Fiction reference. I may have been born in '95, but hey, I don't have a problem going back and watching movies that were before my time, even if it's a year or 2 later. Love Pulp Fiction, and I actually do love the Goldust, old school Goldust stuff. But yeah, I just like what they're doing because at least they have characters.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. As I said, I've been around for both of these guys since the '90s. I think when I was a kid, R-Truth was called Ron Killings, which is his name, and he was like a world heavyweight champion at some point.
NWA world heavyweight champion.
And over all the years that have progressed and what he's doing now, he's definitely going towards a stereotype. And we're not gonna go there.
This conversation now, we gotta move on because now you just made it weird.
It's not weird.
We live
in a regular world.
It's not fun anymore.
I was just saying.
It's not fun anymore. No, I was. Micah, if there's one thing that you gotta know is the fact that when you generalize, when the stereotypicals come into play, it's no longer funny. Then it becomes serious. So now we have to move on.
We'll move on, but I was just saying he was playing up a stereotype. Now he's playing out of a devoid version of Goldust, stereotypically. Anywho, the final match and the main event of the night was Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Go watch this match again. Go to Hulu and watch this match again. This is one of the very better matches that Roman and Seth have had. And in the past, normally, and it's kind of a curse. Every time whenever Roman and Seth were supposed to fight, one of them would be injured. So this is one of those damn rare times.
Yeah, I've literally been keeping track of like who has what win. Roman Reigns got the win in 2014, the week before Night of Champions. Rollins got the win that might have been last year. So tonight technically was the rubber match. So right now Reigns is 2-up on Rollins. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. It did catch a bit slow, but I also think that was the point because did you notice Reigns was really more slow and methodical of the way he just beat down Seth? He was like, "Bitch, are you really saying that you own me? Like I'm about to beat your motherfucking ass for even thinking that." Like that's the attitude I got out of Reigns tonight, and the crowd reacted to him very well. Rollins definitely got the babyface pop that he needed. So even though he did get pinned, I saw a lot of people on Twitter going off like, "Man, like why would you pin Rollins clean as a whistle and shit?" And people, here's the thing. If Rollins was able to get a smooth babyface reaction, and if Reigns was able to evoke something out of the crowd, that this match honestly accomplished both things. So there were no losers in this match, and honestly, both guys looked strong heading into a pay-per-view match, and I'm really happy that we got a clean win. Because how many people thought they were going to do the typical clusterfuck, everybody comes on out, and everybody's hitting their finishers, and then one person stands tall, and usually the person that stands tall does not win. So yeah, I was fine with this overall.
Cass is right. Cass is completely right. At least I agree with him completely that it was a good showcase. There was a very strong "Let's Go Seth" chant going on in the crowd. Seth definitely was the babyface in this match, and I'm gonna touch on Roman in a few moments of his positioning in the heel face spectrum because he doesn't exist. He doesn't exist. He's no heel. He's no face. He's his own entity. He's not even a tweener. He's his own entity. He's his own self. He's now in this hierarchy, honestly, of if you guys watch our kayfabe tier list, which we reviewed on our site as well as all of our podcasts all over the world. You can go to iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, etc., etc. We have our kayfabe tier list. And in the list, there's the S rank. And in the S rank are 3 individuals. It is Brock Lesnar. Is it Undertaker? And Roman Reigns now because he beat Undertaker. Oh, Goldberg. Sorry, my mistake. Goldberg. Because you now are your own entity. And same goes for Undertaker. You are not a heel or a face. You can do anything. You can go and beat up an old lady in the front row who's always there with the dude that has the long hair and the glasses. He's there every freaking pay-per-view, guys. Watch it. He's in the front row to the far left. I don't know what kind of money this dude has. Either way, that's what Roman can do. And he'll be cheered or booed, but he's not changing himself. And I like it. I like that he's just Roman. That's who he is. And if you want to boo him, whatever. But when you boo him, and then at the same time when he goes for the spear and you go, ooh, ah, fuck you. Because you're just being a dick for no reason. You're just being one of the worst parts about being a wrestling fan, which is a troll. And no one wants to be a troll. They live under bridges. They're not even hygienic. But the match was really good. as I said, go out of your way to watch it again, man. It was one of the there's only one other match that I remember that was really good flowing between Roman and Seth, and that was at Money in the Bank. But this one was even better than that, in my opinion. Roman got the win with a spear after Seth tried to get his wins, and the show ended. Show ended on a note. So we're going into Extreme Rules. We won't go do our own review, Cass. But before we leave, I just got two questions for you, Cass. What is your most anticipated match if you had to choose one for the pay-per-view?
The steel cage match for the tag team straps.
All right, keeping that tag team strong, baby.
You know, tonight's Raw. Oh Jesus! Like here's the thing. I'll say this. Like, I thought as an overall episode, it was fine, but just for a go home show, like WWE for some reason to me has just lost the ability to like really create that big fight field. Like before, like to be anticipating. So you get like the go home show is supposed to get you hyped for the pay per view, and it just really did not do it tonight. So
for me, it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
First off, for the matches, I would say at Extreme Rules, I keep wanting to say Payback for some reason. At Extreme Rules, I would say the Fatal 5-Way. They did really great to showcase each person. And originally, I didn't think I only had like one person who could possibly win that stupid match. Sorry, not stupid match. That match. Now I honestly think 4 people can possibly win it, and if they do, it'll be fine. Hell, even if the 5th person that is possibly couldn't win it, they could do it. And as much as I'm saying it, Bray Wyatt could win. He would know he's gonna lose it. Cass is looking at me with contempt. I'm not saying that Bray could win and is gonna be like, can you feel like, oh my God, let's lose our crap. But if Bray even wins, he's shown in his promos and in his movements and in his way of moving around.
Dude, Bray Wyatt winning would be like Jinder Mahal winning the fucking WWE.
Oh my God, we're back. We bring it right back all over again. We're not on SmackDown. The jokes are my thing. I'm the funny man. Anywho, besides that, anybody could win the match, and that's what I like about it. The Raw in general tonight was, how can I say? It was weird. I did blow up, obviously, about the Alexa Bliss Bayley segment, but nothing overall had me like, it didn't particularly drag. It didn't feel like a hindrance. It set up a few things for the pay-per-view, but it didn't knock anything out of the park. So I'd say if you have to watch the show or listen to our review, I'd say listen to our review first, and then go check out the matches that we recommended. Like last week, we said don't watch Raw at all. At all. This week, listen to our show and then go watch Raw. Cass, you got any closing segments?
Nah, just always be on the lookout, people, for my weekly NXT recap. This week's episode is definitely going to be a good one with Bobby Roode returning, so can't wait to review that.
Nothing from my end. You guys can check out the SmackDown review tomorrow. Who knows who's going to be recording it, because SmackDown's doing some crazy stuff that I know you guys are watching and seeing. I hope you guys are enjoying the content that we are giving you all. So from myself, Micah Kool-Aid, and over there at hashtag at Cass Goodwin. There's no hashtag, people. It's just at Cass Goodwin. You can thumbs up this video, ring a ding ding that bell, subscribe to us, and just keep on watching PWF Empire. From Cass and myself, we're gone.
Later days.
Catchphrase.